in Africa, based on the research that I've seen, sits with the mother, right? When women bear children, the core of nurturing, taking care, going to school, sits with the mom. I'm glad to see that we have evolved as a society, and you would know that from a legislation point of view, we are now expanding the definition of who gets to stay with baby, right? And we need to make those changes in terms of our parental leave, because we have seen the shift in more developed markets to the breadwinning wife and the house husband. So about maybe 5-10 years ago, in more developed markets, men make the choice, I would like to stay at home, and because if they evaluate both the career trajectory of the woman and the man, regardless of education, and bring up in more affluent societies, you find that men have that choice. Some men stay at home, the woman becomes the primary breadwinner. In Africa, however, we still face the impact of patriarchy, because that's how African societies has evolved, number one. Number two, we're still dealing with, whether we want to accept it or not, the impact of colonization on the continent and what post-colonial Africa looks like in terms of how we manage our people and what has shaped our minds as African leaders of the continent. And then put all of that aside, and I pull out the income differential report, not just in Eskom, but a lot of other companies I've worked for, and there is most certainly still a pay gap. And I think we would be amiss if we sit here and we talk about leadership and succession, and we don't talk about what is our strategy as an apex organization in this economy to address the gender pay gap. And it's not something that we can solve on our own. But as I did my research a few years ago, when I asked women about when you consider a role, what questions do you ask about remuneration? They're like, well, whatever they offer me. And I think it's incumbent on us as women to start researching and asking the right questions when it comes to pay offers, right? Because when you start on a lower base in comparison with your male counterpart, you just perpetuate that gap even as you go through the ranks. And I think it's important for us at this point in time as an organization to say, yes, we must talk about leadership succession. Yes, we have to get more women into technical fields. But even if it's a longer term strategy, we have to be deliberate about identifying the gender pay gap and putting mechanisms in place to close that.